Hello again and welcome to another episode of World of Darkness. Today we will be making a Tremere. Tremere is probably I want to say it's probably the hardest clan to play. If you're going full heavy RP, like if you're trying to be the character, it's not. Like, Tremeres are kind of dicks. They're pretty easy to pretend to be, but the way they work, the way their rules work, they're probably one of the most complicated of classes to play, or clans to play, because there's just so many different things that you can be and can do. So I'm going to try to point those out a little bit. So let's go ahead and make a name. I believe last time we were a girl. We had a Tremere named Alex, so no, we were a boy last time. Let's name her Ivy. Nature. Let's see here. Let's make her a sociopath. Sociopath, not psychopath. That means she has problems with people, not problems with psychosis. Sociopath literally means that she is, she has a pathological problem with being social. Make her a street magician. Gonna drop her generation down to level 13. Let's see here. Who should we give her as a sire? Hell. Let's give her Dilbert as a sire. That's a good guy. So, again, 753, 1395, you know, the general. We're gonna bump the mental stats. We're gonna leave physical low. Gonna give her a little bit of dexterity, a little bit of stamina. So let's give her a bit of dexterity. She's a little nimble. She's not all that physically talented, though. Social stats. I'm gonna say she's probably a little bit manipulative and kind of cute. Let's see, what else? Now for mental stats, we got that whole 7 points to work with. I'm gonna say she's pretty smart. Actually, I'm gonna go as far as to say she's really smart. Let's see, now for knowledges. Gonna say she probably has some. Nah, she probably doesn't know how to brawl very well. She probably has some awareness, let's see. Let's give her some alertness. There we go. For her skills, we're going to do this as our 7. And knowledges. We're going to do this as our 13. Wait, it's not 7, it's 9. Thought that was wrong. There we go. Now for the 13, I'm going to say she's academically smart. Wait. No, I want that one up. She's academically smart. She has some really nice knowledge of medicine. She got pretty good knowledge of the sciences, and she's an occult, like she's way into the occult, I can't say that word, theology, and other things. Yeah. Let's move down here. I'm gonna give her. I'm gonna put all 3 of her points into thaumaturgy or thaumaturgy, however the fuck you say that. Tremere stat or Tremere skill. That's magic. It is magic. That word is long and obligatory and stupid. It means magic. And there are 2 ways you can do this. You can do an automatic path or a purchase path. If you want to get... I'm going to scroll down a little bit. There is no place to put it on this one, so I'm going to put it in the others. Right here. So, I'm going to put other traits. I'm going to give it... Let's see. No, let's give her a normal. We're going to give her the Path of Blood. Path of Blood is probably the most common Tremere path. Now, some DMs will make you buy your path separately. Personally, I believe that your primary path, once you level up your magic skill, your primary path will go along with it. I believe I've talked about that before with the Genovian. Now, of course, you can buy additional paths. So let's say I want to buy a path of Conjuring. And then there will be a cost for how many, to start a new path and then to level it up. But I'm not doing that right now, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. There are multiple paths. So for this one, thaumaturgy, I'm just going to call it thaumaturgy. I don't care. I know it's wrong. I'm just calling it thaumaturgy. You only have to level this discipline up to 5 once, and then every path you can level up to 5, and it's cheaper to level up paths than disciplines. So it's one of those things where you can... Learning blood magic exclusively is cheaper in the long run, but it is really expensive really early on. It's also easier because you can just master a shit ton of different types of blood magic without any major repercussions. Anyway, let's go with backgrounds. She has a mentor. She has generation. And she has some resources. Okay, we're going to go with that build. She doesn't have a lot of self-control. She focuses so much on her mental learningness that she doesn't have time to control herself. So when she's hungry, she eats. When she's tired, she goes to sleep. She doesn't, force herself to eat on a schedule. It's just, oh, I'm hungry. I guess I'm going to go get a bite to eat. Or, oh, I'm tired. I guess I'm going to go to bed. She doesn't have schedules. Willpower, she has 4. She got some willpower. That's pretty good. Roll for blood. 7. Why do I keep rolling 7s? Actually, I know why I keep rolling 7s, because I have a very small dice ball. I need to get a bigger dice ball. It works great on D20s, because you only roll 1 D20. But when you're rolling 3 and 4 D10s, it gets crowded pretty fast. Now, I didn't bring this up earlier because, for the most part, this is a weakness that doesn't matter. There are 2 weaknesses to the Tremere bloodline. The first one was basically removed as a weakness and is kind of a part of character creation. But their weakness now is that they're easily bloodbound. The first drink will always count as 2. It's not on here. They actually have the whole bloodbound thing, but it actually doesn't use the blood bounding system. It uses the Sabbat version. Basically, the blood bonds, you can have 3 points in a blood bond. Every 3 points or if you have 3 points in a blood bond, you're basically the person you're bound to's slave. You can't hurt them. You can't think badly about them. If you're at 2 points, then you like if they ask you to do something, you'll do it. You might not even realize you're bound to them, but they'll ask you to do something, and you'll have just an urge to want to do it for them. So that's kind of a bad thing, because Tremere, that's what they get to instantly. With 1 point in a blood bond, it's kind of iffy. You could hurt the person if you wanted to, but you kind of don't want to. You can say no if you want to, but at the same time, you have that voice in the back of your head that's saying, maybe we should do this for them. So at 1 point, you kind of like the person, but you don't really point it out. At 2 points, you're like, you'll do just about, like, you're kind of like that ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend who wants to get back together, so they're talking to you every day, they're playing games with you as if you were almost still dating. They have a couple of occasional slip-ups, but where they call you babe when they're supposed to be just friends now. And then at 3 points, you're like that love-crazed guy who you have no clue why they haven't filed a restraining order, because you're stalking them. Anyway, we're not going to go into the merits and flaws because, well, we don't do the freebie points during this phase, or during this whole series. We're going to go down here. What do we have? We have a mentor, a resource, 3 points of generation. So actually, let's lower my generation by 3. So I have resources and a mentor. I'm going to say pyramid. The Tremere run off of the pyramid. The pyramid is the local structure of a Tremere. Basically, it's kind of like the Tremere Coven. So I'm going to say pyramid. You probably have a job within the pyramid that takes care of you. Or you probably have a job that you do for them. I'm trying to think what would be a nice thing. Maybe you're the guy who goes out and buys food, so you're a supplier. You go out, you buy foods, and like you go about buy foods, buy lights. You just go buy shit. Papers, pens, ink, magical regents. You're the guy who goes to the store. You have a mentor. I'm going to say it's the leader of the pyramid. So I'm not going to give this guy a name. He's just some big mage in town. Actually, hell, let's give him a name. Gonna name him Dilbert Archmagus of Blood. There we go. Dilbert, the Archmagus of Blood. Because why not? Now, I said that there were 2 weaknesses. The other weakness of Clan Tremere is kind of a mitigatable one. If you are a Tremere, you will have this weakness. Your storyteller might not force it upon you, though. But the clan weakness of Clan Tremere is that every member of the pyramid is bled to the 7 leaders of Tremere. Yeah, that is almost exactly as it sounds. Basically, the 7 leaders of Tremere use magic, they bleed into a cup, and you take a sip of all 7 of their bloods at the same time, and you get the 2 points of bloodbound to all 7 of them. So it ensures loyalty among the pyramid, among the clan. Yeah, we're not going to go into any of these personal stats. These are things you can make up later if you want to. Don't forget free merits and flaws and freebies if you're going to make a character out of this. And yeah. This is Ivy, our blood mage. If you have any more questions, Tremere is probably the most complicated to make out of all the classes. And that is simply because thaumaturgy, thumology, again, I'm only going to call it thumology. I know it's wrong, but fuck that word. Hey, thaumaturgy pisses me off. There are so many different paths of it. I'm looking. I have a page open at the moment. I'm looking at the wiki, and there are 29 pure thaumaturgies or thaumaturgies. Yeah. There, the path of blood, the path of blood where you control blood. The lore of flame. Well, it's kind of self-explanatory. Movement of the mind, telekinesis. Path of conjuring, the creation of items from nothingness. Hands of destruction. Basically it's time travel. It's basically focused time travel. Elemental mastery, you master the elements. The green path, plants. Actually, that'd probably be a good one for her because I could make her poison ivy. Neptune's might, water control. Path of corruption, corruption. Path of technomancy, technology. Weather control. The Father's vengeance, the path of Mars. Alchemy, bioalchemy. Force of mind, the Hearth path. Mortal shell. There are 29 pure magics. Then there are 2 translated, which are paths that other clans have that have been translated into thaumaturgy in order to kind of oh, by the way, ha ha ha, now we can do this too. And then there's the old paths, which are ancient magics. And then there's rituals. We're not going to get into rituals. I don't like using rituals personally. Rituals are very useful, but I just personally don't like having them. I believe that, yeah, right here you can have the rituals and the level and all that. Oh, here's the one for path. So path, we're going to go path. Necromancy. Yeah, you can see here's all the thaumaturgies paths that are here. And these are just the ones that are here. There are other ones that are all over the place. So path of blood, and I'm going to put 3 points in it. Gonna get rid of this other trait shit. And there we go. So, yeah. Tremere are some of the most complicated members to make. At the same time, once you understand them, they're probably the easiest to play because, oh, I have magic. Their roles are a little different, so they're kind of... they're broken. Honestly, they are fucking broken. I'm not even going to joke about that. But yeah. The roles that, playing them as a character is probably the easiest, although building them is probably the hardest, if that makes sense. But anyway, here was Tremere. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. There are wikis with all of the different paths. I can send them to you. If you want to look at other paths, it's not a problem. So, have fun.